Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. It is Wednesday, January 12th. Let's see if I can get it right this time. 2022. I keep screwing that up. People, let's start off with the economic news today because it's actually unbelievable. No, not to you or me, because we obviously realize what's going on. But most people have not the slightest clue. So now it appears that inflation, believe it or not, is surging higher again at its fastest pace ever. According to their numbers, the inflation rate is now 7%. 7%. More troubling than that, in my view, year over year, real wages, people are supposed to be earning money, but weighed against inflation, they're getting robbed blind. I spoke yesterday about inflation tax. Well, the inflation tax is completely dissolving any gains in wages that people are earning. So real wages, these are their numbers, year over year fell 2.4%. It's way more than that, but that's what they're letting us know here. Consumer prices rise 7% year over year. Month over month, 0.5% higher. Make these numbers up. Again, these are the numbers they're allowing us to know. We all realize these numbers are dog shit. The real numbers are worse. Now, let us put something else into a perspective. I think you're going to get a real kick out of this. Despite the fact that the bad economic news doesn't stop, and it couldn't possibly be worse than what I just told you, stock futures higher across the board. As a matter of fact, the setup for the stock market is looking real sweet to me. Let's talk about that. Crude oil continues to rip higher. WTI crude over $82 a barrel. The dollar is weaker this morning. The yield curve looking pretty nice to Greg Mannarino, who studies it all the time. So the setup for the market is just beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful here in the face of everything that continues to get thrown at this market. Look, I understand the dilemma a lot of you are in. How can the stock market keep going higher in the face of a cratering economy, in the face of record inflation, the fact that people are getting destroyed? They continue to borrow beyond their eyeballs. Our economy is done. Again, if you were watching Bloomberg this morning, what are they doing? They're parading out the freak show and having people lie to you, talking about how great our economy is. Look, when was the last time one of you heard about the money velocity, the rate at which cash moves to the economy? I'm going to keep talking about this because without the rate at which cash is moving through the economy, moving higher, we are at historic lows, okay? Without that, you can't have an economic recovery or a boom. But they're trying to convince you, again, that what you're seeing is not real. And I told you this phenomenon would continue until forever here. So yes, stock futures right now are higher. Trading doesn't start for about 35 minutes in the face of what I would say is absolutely incredibly bad economic news. How many of you recall just, I don't know, several weeks ago, peak inflation? It was peaking. No, we kind of blew right through that. And we're not done by a long shot. People, what have I been explaining to you for a very, very long time? The job here, or the mission, should I say, of central banks is to continue to inflate. That's their goal. And obviously, I think you and I, understanding this phenomenon, we've nailed this to the wall. We knew exactly what would happen as a result of central banks here attempting to fulfill their end game, to be the lender and buyer of last resort, to make sure the economy stays in some kind of a depressed mode. Any mechanism necessary that they need to do it, whether they need to shut down the global economy via a pandemic or whatever they need to do. Understand, none of this is by accident. This is to fulfill an end game, to fulfill a goal of central banks to own it all. And the fact that the economy is globally, it's over, it's done. allows the Fed and other central banks to buy it all. This is their goal, and they will continue to keep people in some kind of a, again, distorted reality. They will also keep people in a state of fear. They will use the propaganda ministry to relay their fear message to the masses, to people around the world. That is what they're going to do. This is deliberate. Everything that we are seeing right now, the surging inflation you and I knew was coming. And again, how many of you were as upset as I was yesterday when one of our representatives asked the Federal Reserve chairperson, how is it that he was so wrong with regard to hitting their 2% inflation target? Guess what? We're at 7% today. Nobody cared enough about the people, okay, to ask one question. Mr. Fed chairperson, how is it you were so wrong? Well, he did go on to say that, the Fed will maintain some kind of price stability. Really? Any one of you, tell me, please, where is even the slightest shred or the slightest sign that there is any price stability in anything? Again, the markets are distorted beyond belief on the back of a hyper debt bubble. You all know that the stock market is a derivative, meaning the stock market derives value from what is happening in the debt market. Everything does. Every asset pretty much derives value as to what is occurring in the debt market. Now, if we have a debt market in a hyper bubble, although it is a stable hyper bubble, at least for now, it's not going to last. There is going to be a moment by design, it's not by accident, when we do get an implosion in the debt market. This is all leading up to a climax. What you're seeing now, all of the price action distortions across the spectrum of asset classes, the economy in some kind of upside down, twisted environment with inflation surging at its highest pace ever, real wages cratering, all of this, okay, is leading up to a climax. The climax is going to be a moment in time that no one is ever going to forget throughout history, okay? An absolute meltdown in the debt market on an unprecedented scale. Because again, we've never seen distortions like this. When that happens, you know how it's going to play out. I'll outline real quick. Rates are going to spike at an uncontrolled fashion. That's going to put massive amount of pressure on the stock market, which we're going to get a massive sell-off in the debt market, massive sell-off in the stock market, and cash is just going to move from one reality to another. Remember, cash does not go to money heaven. People think it does. It's so funny. I talk to people all the time. Let's say if someone owns stock XYZ and they lost X amount of dollars in stock XYZ, they think everybody lost. No, that could not be farther from the truth here. Every single trade has two sides to it. Okay, cash just moves from one reality to another. If this one guy is willing to buy stock, one other guy is willing to sell it. That's just how it works for the most part, especially when we're talking about derivatives. Okay, I'm a derivatives trader. So I look at the market maybe through a different lens than most people do. And as a person that trades derivatives, that understands derivatives, and I don't think there's actually too many people, honestly, who understand the inner workings of the derivatives market to a very, very high level. I happen to believe I am one of those people, and I think you are as well. If you follow this blog, you understand the market better than anybody else. I really believe that. If you have followed this blog for, I would say literally for 6 months, you probably know as much about how the market works than a Wall Street fund manager. That's pretty much what I do. I run this blog as if this is a huge fund. I tell all of you what to do. I tell all of you how you should be hedging yourself, what you should be doing to take advantage of the market. This is almost like a war room. We sit here and we discuss the market. We sit here and we try to put this into perspective because we're not going to lose. We're not going to be fleeced. Nobody. I will not ever allow that to happen to you. Okay? I won't allow it to happen to me. So I will not allow it to happen to you. Understanding the dynamics of the market, the drivers of this market, it's not hard. It's really not a hard thing to do. And understanding how things actually work by looking here and then looking over there and putting this whole thing together allows us to make the right choices moving forward. Are we always going to get it right? No. But are we going to get it right the vast majority of the time? Absolutely. Absolutely. And that puts us so far ahead of the curve, it's frankly retarded. Okay, that's the truth. Anyway, so that's the story this morning. It's pretty incredible here. Inflation continues to surge. No surprise to you, no surprise to me, and we haven't seen anything yet. Year over year, real wages are, well, people are dying, okay, by design. A wipeout of the middle class. Again, look, year over year with real wages dropping 2.4%. Let me explain this to you. The well-off and the rich are getting so much more well-off and so much richer as this entire shit show crumbles around us. Well, that's just the way it is. That's the nature of the beast too here. Look, it's survival of the fittest. It always is, whether it's in nature or it's in the stock market. And those of us out here who understand how to take advantage of what's going on, and it's not so hard realizing how things are playing out, we can stay, and we have stayed way ahead of the curve. It's not going to stop for you and me. Just like anything else, just like the distortions in this market are not going to stop. The easy money is not going to stop. It's just going to keep pouring into the market. Are we going to waver around like we have seen recently? Is it possible that the stock market could fall X% over a certain amount of period of time? Absolutely, and we should expect it. Don't ever expect that the market is just going to continue to go up, 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 up without a little consolidation period, a pullback like we kind of seen recently. This wasn't even a real pullback or a real correction. The NASDAQ, okay, we fell 7% from a record high. So I don't know. I guess you consider that a pullback. But I told you, this has gotten so overblown with the tech sector here. And that's just the nature of the beast too. The market always overreacts one way or the other, and that's where the opportunity is. You see, most people have no clue, and I mean zero. They go to their job, whatever it might be, every day, and then they think they're stock market experts. It's an impossibility. In order to be an expert at anything in life, you have to immerse yourself in it. You have to become that thing. I have said, I am the market. That's how I really feel about myself, because I'm in it 24/7, not just when the market is open and I have money to move around, whether it's going into cryptos or out of cryptos or gold or silver or back into the stock market. I'm moving money every day, all over the place, okay? Most people don't do that. So they don't understand how money is flowing through the market or how it flows through the markets. They don't understand the actual inner workings of the market. They don't realize the drivers of the market. They sit there, they follow the mainstream propaganda ministry, and they think they're hearing the truth. Well, all they're doing is being propagandized and deceived on a massive scale. Anyway, cryptocurrencies, going back to the markets real quick, doing very well today. Bitcoin higher, crypto's higher pretty much across the board. Gold and silver doing well today. It's not gonna stop people. Look, I'm gonna tell you this yet again, and if you don't want to believe Greg Mannarino, well, do so at your own peril. You need to understand what you're looking at in this market. You need to understand that this market is not done. We are in the biggest bull market the world has ever seen. It's not going to stop anytime soon because we have a stable debt market. Although the debt market is, and I have acknowledged this because I've been talking about it for like, I don't know, however long now, over a decade. It's a hyper bubble. The debt hyper bubble is not going to stop. And the Federal Reserve is only concerned about keeping things the way they are in the debt market right now, which means they have no intention whatsoever of unwinding their balance sheet, tapering, or, oh, let me show you something real quick. This is the Fed's balance sheet. Hold that thought. I can't get it. This is the Fed's balance sheet just over the last year. You notice anything? What do you notice about the Fed's balance sheet just over the last year? Well, it's gone straight the freak up. You think this is going to stop anytime soon? Really? Do you really think so? How about no? And understanding that phenomenon allows you and me, again, to realize what we need to do. People, look, we're never going to let each other down. You understand? I always tell you that I got your back. And I do. I don't believe there's another guy out here, and I really don't believe this, who has your back with regard to this market more than I do. And I really legitimately care about people. I honestly do too. I care about you. And I know you care about me too. We're like a big family. Like I said, some of you have been with me for a very long period of time. And I run into some of you from time to time. Like I'll be walking through a store or wherever, and I'll hear my name getting yelled at, and I'll turn around and it's like some guy or some girl run up to me, and you know, I feel like we know each other. You know, oh, Greg, I've been watching you for years on YouTube. You're incredible, blah, blah, blah. Although I don't feel that way. Look, I'm nobody special at all. Zero. I'm just a guy here who understands the market. That's all I am. And I come out here and I convey this stuff to all of you so we can all understand the market. It doesn't make me special. It just makes me a guy who wants other people to succeed. I want us all to succeed, even those of you here who don't like me. And I know I have a lot of people who don't like me, but I want to help them too. I really do. That's fine. You can go on not liking Greg Mannarino. Don't matter to me. But if you listen to what I'm saying, you will be able to take advantage of this stuff. I'm not going to lose. And I promised you that from years ago. All right, people, look, kind of a long video. I'm out of here. Love you a lot. So think about what I just said in this video. We have inflation surging out of control. Real wages cratering. It's incredible, some of these numbers. Real wages year over year down 2.4%. Consumer prices skyrocketing. Inflation now 7%. Month over month, consumer prices rising 0.5%. You can't make this stuff up. And these are their numbers. These are what they're allowing us to know. Doesn't matter, really. We're not going to let the system beat us. It's just not going to happen. It can't happen, in my view. We know what to do, and we know why we're doing it, and that is just so important, people. Bet against the debt. Become your own central bank. Ignore the naysayers when it comes to... There's a lot of people out here who think that owning hard assets, physical gold and silver, is a stupid thing to do. Meanwhile, they don't know why we're doing it. Cryptocurrency, same concept. We're holding these things for the long run because we believe they're anti-debt units. We realize that this debt bubble, this debt hyper bubble, cannot be sustained, although they are going to put a lot of effort into keeping it sustained. And at least when it comes down, we're hedged. And we're taking advantage of the market. Do you know I got blamed by some people for saying, oh, Greg, it's because of you that I've been out of the market? Out of the stock market. I've been telling people to own this market. I've been telling people to own large cap dividend paying stocks since like time immemorial to take advantage of the market. Anyway, you know what? You can't fix stupid. That's the truth. Love you a lot. I'll see you at the end of the day.